Hey everyone, it's Key. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a get ready with me video on my go-to glam look. This is the look I wear almost every time I'm going somewhere and I know I need to look good and I don't have time to mess about. You're gonna love it, you're gonna be able to follow along with it, so let's get going. So first I'm taking the NYX micro brow pencil in brunette and I'm just using that to create light natural brow strokes, and you can see that I'm just filling the top of my brow in a little bit just to kind of define the shape a little bit more where I have lost a few brow hairs. I actually have a chicken pox scar there, so brow hairs just don't grow there anymore. Now at the front of the brow I'm just drawing a few hair strokes upwards just to try and make it look a little bit more natural. Because my brows are so dark anyway, I don't really need to fill them in too much, because if I go a bit too heavy on them they can look a bit like Sharpie brows. Nobody wants that. So I think that's why I love the NYX brow pencil now. I just love how skinny the actual pencil bit is, and it definitely gives benefit precisely in my brow, and MAC's spiked brow pencil are on for its money. So cheap. Now I'm taking the Collection 2000 concealer in Fair and I'm just patting that all over the eye with a flat concealer brush, just as a nice shot of primer. I kind of go between this one and the MAC Select Cover Up, but I feel like the MAC Select Cover Up is a bit heavier and also it's a little bit more maintenance. You kind of have to pat it in and make sure that it's nice and tacky, and I just didn't have any time for that today, so went for the easy option. So on a fluffy blending brush I'm taking this pink shade. It's actually a Revolution blusher from the Ultimate Blush and Light and Contour palette, which I got for Christmas. The blusher doesn't actually have a name, but it's kind of like a light pink shade. Normally I would use something a bit more neutral for my transition shade, such as Peach Smoothie, but I'm doing this look on Valentine's Day and I'm wearing a pink top, so I thought that it would just be a bit more Valentine's-y. Next, on a Morphe brush I'm taking Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek and I'm just packing that into the crease just to deepen up the eye a little bit. You've seen me do this. I pack the colour on and then I blend it out with my fluffy brush. As always, just keep going back and forth with the two colours until you're happy with the blend. Always use your fluffy blending brush to blend out any harsh lines or edges between the two colours. You don't want it to look like a stripy rainbow. Next, on a smaller smudger brush by Jessup, I'm taking Americano by Makeup Geek, and what I'm doing here is I'm darkening up the outer V of the eye, and then I'm slowly kind of flicking it up towards the crease, and then again with my fluffy brush blending it all together. I'm going to be cutting the crease, so I want to make sure that that crease looks nice and defined and dark, so then when we actually cut the crease it does look like there is a difference. It might not make sense now, but it will when I do it. So I just want to make sure that that crease is nice and dark and defined. especially the outer V, because I'm going to have my liner going in and just blending into the actual corner. I'm not going to have a wing today, so just going to kind of blend into the outside corner and then look like it's just blending away to nothing. How bad is my skin? And to say this was Valentine's Day as well, bummer. Always when I want to go somewhere nice and look nice, I get a little friend living on my nose. So again, just taking that Americano shade into the crease and blending it in. I'm going into the very corner and a little bit along the lash line with that black. Don't want to take that too much into the crease or you're going to end up looking like a panda. This is mainly for when I put my liner on. I want it to look like my liner is just disappearing into nothing. Now it's time to cut the crease. So on a Lychee XO brush, one of my faves, so I'm taking the Collection 2000 Lasting Perfection Concealer, and what I'm doing is I am actually stamping out the shape and then pulling down towards the lash line. Don't drag the concealer along, that will create a jagged edge. Place the brush on the area that you want and then pull down towards the lash line, and that will give you a much cleaner and smoother cut. Now I'm just patting that concealer around the edges so that later on the shadows will blend into it properly. So just keep patting to make sure that you're happy. Now moving on to the next eye, and I do the exact same thing again. So I'm almost stamping out the shape rather than pulling the concealer along the eye. I'm just pressing where I want the shape to be and then pulling down towards the lash line. And I find this technique to be the best for doing a cut crease. Everybody's eye shape is different. I have slightly hooded eyes, so when you create this look you might have more lid space, less lid space, but just work with what you got. That's all we can do. Okay, now I'm taking my favorite pigment by Inglot. Oh, it's so pretty. Number 30. It's a white pigment, but it kind of has a gold reflex to it. So one way you look, it looks white, the next way it looks gold. Look at that, it is so beautiful. I swear that's what angels' skins look like. You can tell I'm happy by that. I wore that so much over Christmas. So I'm just taking a bit of the Ben Nye glitter glue, again my fave, on the Lychee XO brush and patting that onto the lid. Now you don't have to use a glitter glue for these pigments. They would actually stick to your skin or just to a concealer or primer, but as you know, I'm a bit extra and I like to make sure that A, my pigment stays on all night, and B, that it looks popping. So I find that when I use the glitter glue it just looks amazing. It looks the best that it can look. So I'm just patting that all over, and again you can see I've left a little line just along my lash line because I'm going to be putting liner there anyway, so there's no point in wasting pigment. How pretty is this? Seriously, I first seen this on a tutorial that Jeanette Cronin did. If you've never heard of her, she's amazing. She's an Irish makeup artist. I think she's from Cork, and she's got a salon there, and she is unreal. Like, she is just owning the game. Definitely check her out on Facebook and probably Instagram as well. I first seen her doing a tutorial using that, and I was like, yes, absolutely, I need to get that in my life. Like, I need it all over my skin. I need to bathe in it. So I've taken my Illamasqua Precision Gel Liner, and I'm taking that on a tiny angled brush by my KeyToMakeup. You need to check these brushes out. My KeyToMakeup, amazing company for brushes. And again, kind of similar to how I cut the crease, I start by laying the brush flat onto my skin and then pulling down. You'll see what I do now. See how I'm kind of pulling down? It's almost like I'm drawing a shape and then colouring it in. And then I'm dragging a little bit of that liner into the out to the very end of my eye. And then I'm taking a bit more black shadow on the gesso brush and blending it out together. And this is where you'll see how my liner ends up looking like it's just blending into nothingness. And this is a really good trick for people who don't really know how to do winged liner or aren't confident with doing winged liner. You can just get away with it. You can just cheat. Don't do a wing. Just blend it into nothing. No one will know any different. Another trick for doing liner, if you struggle with it, is instead of looking straight ahead at a mirror, hold a mirror lower and then look down into the mirror, so then you actually have more lid space to work with rather than trying to work on a crumpled up eye. Now I'm also taking some of that black shadow and I'm blending it into the pigment area just so it looks like that's all blended together too, so that there isn't any harsh lines between those two. Now I'm taking Benefit's High Beam and I'm putting this all over my face because I want to be glowing. I've started using this again lately and I just absolutely love it. I think it's because my skin is so dry out here in the desert. But wow, that looks like tinfoil. Wow. If I could just wear this, if I could just get away with wearing that by itself, I think I would. Crazy, crazy tinfoil person. So now I'm taking a bit more of the Collection 2000 concealer underneath the eye on the lower lash line so that we can bring the shadows down. And I'm covering up my little friends. You guys are not going out tonight. Now I'm taking those shadows that we used on the top on the bottom, so the blusher first. And then a mixture of the Cocoa Bear and Americano shadows by Geek. So just run those along the lash line and that pulls everything together. And when we pop that Americano on, you can see how it all just blends together and now it looks like a finished look. Now I'm using the Rimmel Scandaleyes waterproof kohl pencil to line my waterline, and that's in the colour Nude. And I am loving these. These stay on so well. Now you could use a black liner if that's what you normally like to use, but because I was going out for Valentine's Day, I didn't want my eyes to look too dark, so I used a nude liner to kind of open my eye a little bit. Now I'm popping a highlighter from that palette again into the inner corner and underneath my brow. Now I'm just blending out that concealer, and I'm popping on some of the Revlon Color Stay in the shade 220. And I'm singing along to a song. I'm using that concealer brush to carve around my brows so that when I blend my foundation out, it doesn't mess up my brows. And I'm popping on a little bit of the Bare Minerals facial oil onto my Kabuki brush by Morphe, and then blending out my foundation. This is my new favourite way to do my foundation at the moment. It just makes my skin look so dewy and so fresh. It gives the most beautiful glow to the skin. Like I said, my skin has been super dry since I moved out to the desert. I mean, how else do I expect my skin to look when I live in the desert? Just adding a little bit more of that foundation where I need it. Next, I'm grabbing the Primark concealer in Ivory, and I'm just using that to highlight my face but also give me a little bit more coverage, and I'm using a Jessup concealer buffing brush to buff that out. You guys need to check that concealer out. It comes in so many shades as well. Like, Primark is just owning it for makeup these days. Here I'm just taking some Hoola bronzer by Benefit on a fluffy face brush by Jessup, just to give myself a little bit of a contour, carve out those cheekbones. A little bit on the nose as well. I don't bother to contour my nose because I'm happy with the shape of my nose, but I just kind of dust the bronzer over it to make it look like the sun has sort of hit my nose, like maybe I was sitting out, you know, sunbathing or something. Next I'm grabbing Dandelion blusher by Benefit on a fluffy brush by My KitKo. Here comes the serial killer face again. Anyone watching my last video will know what I'm talking about. And then I'm just blending those together with a fluffy face brush because I felt that they were a little bit unblended. Next I'm taking the Illamasqua OMG highlighter. And this is a Jessup brush. It's actually a highlighter brush by Jessup and it is amazing. I use this almost all the time to do my highlighter. A little bit on the lips. Now if that is not a glowing skin, I don't know what is. Grab your favourite mascara. You know the drill, I'm gonna put lashes on anyway, so it really doesn't matter what mascara we pick. Did you guys hear that castor oil is supposed to be good for making your lashes grow? Like, do I drink it? I'm using some of the Pixie brow gel to set my brows in place. So I like to brush the hairs all the way up first and then smooth them out. A little bit of oil on the lips, as always. Oh, eating it. No thank you. Next I'm taking the Deb.by lip liner in shade 12 to line my lips. It's a nice rosy shade, which I thought would be perfect for Valentine's Day. And again, you already know I like to overline my lips a little bit, just to make them look a bit more pouty, kissable. pop on some lashes. I'm wearing the Kiss lashes in the style Peony. They're a kind of a wispy, flirty style lash, which I thought would go really well with this look. And I'm using the duo glue to apply these. To finish off this look, I am wearing a super old product. It's the Rimmel Apocolips lip lacquer in the shade Celestial. Do you guys remember these? I feel like these were the first liquid lipstick style product. They're not as matte as like some of the liquid lipsticks that we have today, but they're really good. I still like wearing them. They just smell a bit funky. And I'm spraying my face with the MAC Fix Plus just to keep myself nice and dewy throughout the night, and that's it. We are done fixing my hair. So this was my go-to glam look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos coming up soon. You can also get me on Instagram at makeup_by_key. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.